To read reality correctly is to recognize before physical evidence appears. This is the 7-minute daily focus, day 47 of 365. To read reality correctly is to recognize before physical evidence appears. Today's focus, recognition before physical evidence. On day 46, you stood in the established position. Today, you refine the posture that sustains it, openness to the first sense. Not by forcing, not by striving, not by demanding change, but by recognizing what already is. Day 47 is not about creating a new condition. It is about observing present reality without resistance. The physical world has trained you to react, to measure, to evaluate, to demand proof before belief. But metaphysical literacy restores original order. Recognition precedes physical evidence. The first sense precedes outward confirmation. Appearance reports what the first sense has already perceived. Pause here for a moment. Be open to your first sense. Do not demand change. Observe reality as it is. Not as you wish it to be, not as you fear it may become, not as circumstances describe it. Observe it as it is. Observe the stability that is already present. Observe the order beneath circumstance. Observe the structure beneath fluctuation. Observe the completeness that requires no validation, only recognition. Recognition is more than imagination. Recognition is awareness aligned with actuality. Recognition is the first sense, reading what is finished. You are not here to manipulate reality. You are here to see it clearly. You are not here to improve yourself. You are here to recognize what is already established. You are not here to chase outcomes. You are here to stabilize perception. Remember this, thought is origin. The first sense is how you read origin. Physical evidence is the echo, never the authority. When you demand change, you imply absence. When you observe clearly, you align with presence. You do not wait for physical evidence. You stabilize the first sense. You do not require confirmation. You maintain recognition. You do not ask reality to rearrange itself. You remove resistance and allow translation. Pause again. Be still and focus inwardly. Sense the steadiness beneath movement. Sense the completeness beneath unfolding events. Sense the present reality that requires no becoming. Nothing is missing. Nothing is late. Nothing is incomplete. Only recognition clarifies what already stands. Walk today intentionally, not demanding, observing, not striving, recognizing, not reacting, reading reality through the first sense. Let perception remain steadfast even if circumstances fluctuate. Let clarity remain firm even if reports shift. Physical evidence belongs to time. The first sense belongs to present reality. When the first sense stabilizes, physical evidence adjusts. When recognition remains unbroken, translation becomes natural. Let us deepen this even further before we affirm it. Recognition before physical evidence is not a denial of the visible world. It is the correct placement of the visible world. It is understood that what you see is a report, not a ruler. It is the refusal to let a report define reality. Most people live from reaction. They wait to see what happens. They scan the environment. They measure outcomes. Then they decide how to feel. But you are learning to live from the first sense. You are learning to stabilize perception before evidence appears. You are learning to stand inwardly before movement outwardly confirms you. This is composure. This is internal authority. This is maturity of awareness. When physical evidence shifts unexpectedly, the untrained mind shifts with it. When vision fluctuates, confidence fluctuates. When conversations are challenged, certainty dissolves. But the first sense does not fluctuate. It reads what is constant beneath movement. It perceives structure beneath variation. It senses order beneath temporary disorder. To live this way requires steadiness, not force, not tension, steadiness. When you pause before reacting, you interrupt old conditioning. When you observe before interpreting, you prevent distortion. When you recognize before concluding, you remain aligned with actuality. Recognition before physical evidence also refines how you think. It shifts you from speculation to perception. It shifts you from assumption to awareness. It shifts you from fear-based forecasting to clarity-based observation. When you operate from the first sense, you no longer interpret every fluctuation as a threat. You no longer interpret delay as denial. You no longer interpret silence as absence. You understand sequence. You understand unfolding. You understand that translation takes place in stages. Evidence is not immediate because time processes visibility, but reality itself is not delayed. Reality is structured in completion. Time simply reveals it in parts. This is why recognition matters, because recognition aligns you with completion before sequence displays it. Recognition anchors you in what is finished before it is framed physically. There is profound calm in this stance. You become less reactive, less defensive, less hurried. You move with deliberateness. You speak with intention. You decide with clarity. And this deliberate posture alters outcomes because interpretation influences action. Action influences pattern. Pattern influences result. When recognition is steadfast, action becomes aligned. When action is aligned, results become coherent. Recognition, before physical evidence, also protects you from illusion. Illusion exaggerates movement. Illusion amplifies fear. Illusion distorts proportion. The first sense restores proportion. It brings scale back into focus. It reveals that what seems overwhelming is often transitional. You begin to notice something remarkable. When you stop demanding change, change unfolds more naturally. When you stop forcing movement, movement aligns more precisely. This is not passivity. It is alignment with order. It is participation without panic. It is action without agitation. Recognition, before physical evidence, refines your presence. You become less concerned with appearances, less distracted by fluctuation, more attentive to what is constant. And in that constancy, confidence stabilizes, not because evidence reassures you, but because perception anchors you. Before we affirm this, understand that what you firmly perceive inwardly shapes how you participate outwardly. Participation influences direction. Direction influences experience. So remain steadfast, remain observant, remain aligned with the first sense. Let evidence arrive in its proper sequence. Affirmation for day 47. I pause and open to the first sense. I do not demand change. I observe reality as it is. My recognition is steadfast. Physical evidence follows what I firmly perceive.